Well, hello everyone. This is Mr. Sam again with a video on how to tune your guitar. Now, in our last video, which was an introduction to the guitar, I did go into how to tune a guitar, but I'm going to go into it a little more thoroughly in this video because tuning a guitar is a skill. It takes a lot of time and patience, but it's probably the most important skill you'll learn, because without having a guitar in tune, you're not going to be able to play it very well. And there are plenty of people who can play the guitar, but they really don't know how to tune it, and they have to take it to somebody else, and it doesn't really work, and they can't figure it out. If they would learn to tune their guitar, they'd be way ahead of the game and have a lot more fun on their guitar. So I will start talking about how to get your guitar in tune. Tuning your guitar has to do with the strings. You've got 6 strings on your guitar, and the strings both have numbers, and each numbered string has a corresponding letter. So I'll start talking about the numbers, and you always count from the bottom up with number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So 1 from the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, when we give our strings letters, we actually count from the top down. We start with the 6th string, and it's E. 5th string is A. 4th string is D. 3rd string is G. 2nd string is B. 1st string is E. E. Again, you've got 2 E's, a low E, which is your number 6 string, and a high E, which is your number 1 string. Now, I've got my hand up here on what's called the tuning machine. I'll come a little closer for this. Now, listen to this. I'm going to turn my tuning machine. You hear that changing? Now, on these 3 across the top of my guitar, let me move this a little bit so you can see. 1, 2, 3. When I turn them towards myself, hear that getting lower, and when I turn it away, it goes higher. And you see I'm also plucking with my pick. And then when you go down to the bottom where you've got these 3 tuning machines on the bottom, it's the opposite. I'm turning it away from me, it's getting lower, and towards me it's getting higher. The main thing to do is when you tune these, when you turn them to tune, take your time and don't turn them too much at once. Now, the trick is, how do you get them in tune? You use a little machine called the tuning machine. Now, mine is made by the Fender company. There's lots of companies that make them. They cost about $20. They're not too bad. And the TAPS program will provide you with a tuner. Now, I'm going to turn this little tuner on. The way you do that is there's a little button at the bottom, and you press it. It's blue. Now, move it back a little bit. I'm going to take my glasses off for a second. Now, that little tuner right now, whoops. Let's see what it says. It says it's got a little C on it. It's important. You want it to say C because it's got other letters. It's got a G, which will also work, but when it goes to the B, that's for banjo. You don't want that. V for violin, U for ukulele. You don't want that. So I recommend, after you turn it on, you put it on C. And the way to turn it off is you just press and hold, and it turns off. So this is going to be how you get your guitar actually to the right note. Now I'm going to clip this on here. And there's a little saying about the strings. And I talked about it in my introduction. It helps you remember the notes. I said this is E, A, D, G, B, and E. Sixth is E, fifth is A, fourth is D, third string is G, second string is B, first string is E again. Now, the way I remember those is I have a little saying. It goes like this: elephants always do grow big ears. Now think about that. The first letter of each word is the note of each string from the sixth string down to the first. Elephants, E, always, A, do, D, grow, G, big, B, ears, E again. So remember that elephants always do grow big ears. And imagine an elephant. Think about how big their ears are. There's no elephants that just grow tiny ears. Elephants always do grow big ears. And I didn't make that up. In fact, I learned that from one of my students over at East Yancey Middle School. He said he learned it from his sister, so thank you to that student. So let's see about getting our guitar in tune. You always start with your sixth string, which is what? Elephants always do grow big ears. Elephants, what's the first letter of elephant? E, that's right. So it's an E. And now you notice I pluck it with my pick. Here's my pick. And I'll have another video about how to choose a pick. I hit it over and over again so I can hear that sound. Now I'm going to focus in on the tuner here. I'm going to make sure it's turned on and on to C. And we're going to watch this. I think it's a little out of tune right now, and I'm hoping so because I want to show you how to tune it. Now, look at this. You can see what letter that is. It says E, but guess what? It's the right letter, but you want this tuner to turn green. So watch, I'm going to turn. I've got my hand on the tuning machine, turning it away from me to make it go up. Let's see. It went to F. F is above E, so I went a little too far. Go back down. See that little arrow there it goes, or a little line? I'm going to try to get it to turn green. Ah, look at that. My tuner turns green when it's right on the note of E. And I was going over and over again. So the next one is going to be A. Let's see what we get here. I'll come back up a little bit closer. You can see both my hands now. A, and it turned green. Look at that. Didn't even have to tune it because it was already tuned. Now my third string, elephants always do. What letter would that be? That would be D. Okay, I'll go out of tune, and I'll bring it back up till it turns green with a D. Come on now, there we go. Now, big. Oops, elephants always do big, is that right? No. Elephants always do grow, so what's my next string? G. Now these ones you turn the opposite direction because they're on the bottom. So it's in tune. I'm going to untune it just to show you. Lower it. Now I'm going to bring it back up. Here it comes. Ooh. Now I'm ready for the second string, which is B for big. That's in tune. And E for ears. Let's see, that one's too high. There we go. So now we've got got strings number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see how it sounds to play a little song. Let me see, I'll turn it off. Let's try this call and response song that I'm going to teach you in a future lesson. It's called Long John. You remember it from that first video? You repeat after me. One day, I was walking along, and I met up with a man, and he taught me this song. About Long John, long tall John, he's long gone, like a turkey through the corn, Well, I will see you next time, and remember that rule that I've got. You gotta have fun. And if you start trying to tune your guitar and it's not working out, take a break, go out and do something else, get a glass of water, have some fun and come back. It takes time and it takes patience, and the main thing to remember is don't turn those tuning pegs too fast and too hard. You might break a string. If you do break a string, don't worry about it too much. I will teach you how to replace those strings. But you could take it to somebody that's a much more experienced guitar player and they could replace the string for you, maybe a guitar shop. There's one in Burnsville, there's one in Spruce Pine, and they'll help you. It happens. But bye-bye. And until I see you again, have fun.